Let us go back to North London in the 1970s. A group of young African-Caribbean people, many second generation, are seeking a place that they can call their own. They found a youth center on Berry Street in Edmonton that became a home from home. Here was a place of community where young boys and girls could meet, share new experiences, and express their talents. For many of the boys, this was through football. And this is when Newbury ruled.
Edmonton in the 70s was a family, a community. Everybody was together.
Very, very busy place. The Edmonton Green, everybody knew everyone down there.
All the shops was different, the people was different, but I loved it.
It was just a town where you just go to school, meet up with your friends, play football.
We just made friends with people so easily.
It was okay. People fell out with each other, and then the next day, they'd be back playing with each other. That's Edmonton. That was us, and it was fun.
We were a minority, and there were groups of families.
My family, the Campbells, the Halls, the Johnsons, the Catos, big families, big family names, and we were all one community, and this was the hub, Newbury.
Newbury to me was home. It was a sense of a belonging. We had somewhere to go. We had football, we had badminton, we had basketball. You know, it was a safe place to be.
Newbury was where everybody used to come, and that's where we learned our stuff, actually. We used to play everything in this place.
As soon as I came to Newbury, I felt, yeah, this is my people. That's what drew me. It was the whole atmosphere of the place. So it wasn't just black or white or feeling at home. It was the whole atmosphere of Newbury.
Well, Newbury was a place where we used to hang around, engage, have a little chat with the staff, other young people, do exercises, play a bit of games, pool, table tennis. Yeah, it was a meeting place for young people. Newbury wasn't too far from where I lived. Croydon Road, just being on one of the roads at the back. And you're going to the park and you're playing around, and then somebody asks you, do you want to go to the youth centre? You say, youth centre, okay. Newbury said, I'll take a walk and see.
There were so many of us that knew each other in the area. So many of us. I suppose you'd get that in any area, but there were so many of us, and we were drawn to Newbury. So what it done, it brought us together. It brought us together. So you'd meet that person and he's not really from this area, he's from over there. But we met at Newbury.
I used to go to this other youth club called Craig Park.
In Edmonton.
Yes. We kind of interacted, made friends, and then we started to come down to Newbury. And I think that's where someone must have said, let's start a football team. I can't remember that far back.
We had friends in Craig Park. Somebody would have introduced us and told us, have you tried Newbury? Because one thing I must, in terms of the dynamics of Craig Park and Newbury, Craig Park was more white or mixture. Yeah. Newbury was predominantly black. Yeah.
Back in the day, it was soul-led or reggae, but we liked both. Yeah. So it all started here.
I remember Jean Ralph. I think she was the manager. She was head of the project, head of the centre. And it was Ted Della and Ada, very senior folks who was very supportive because they saw the changes in the club. They had a football team before that. Our team was predominantly white team. With the changes of the club and people coming to the club, to the youth club, most of those white players went to another youth centres. And so Ted was looking at some of the members who were coming to the centre, maybe we could do a football team. Maybe we could start a football team. I think the young people were saying, yeah, let us do a football team.
The first season we started to play, Enfield and the surrounding area was predominantly white. So you was playing a lot against.
You're playing against white
a
guys.
lot
Yeah,
of
white
white
teams.
kids and the referees. We had to fight referees. Anything we done was a foul.
Not physically fight them, but we'd argue against them.
You know, we used to have some great matches against a lot of teams. And I'm not even sure that we had to score more goals than other teams because we had so many disallowed, because in the end they couldn't stop disallowing our goals.
When we played against opposition, okay, it's because we were predominantly a black side. There was a lot of apprehension and people whispering this, that when the team came out and played. And then we just have a lot of comments on the line from spectators or even opposition.
That's what you had to put up with. So you go to the ground, to got all the supporters surrounding you, the players are calling you names, the supporters are calling you names, and you just had to deal with it. Sometimes it became physical, but it wasn't our fault.
We felt that that particular time in the first season, not just the first season alone, there was quite a battle against the officials, against the officials as well, because they used to we felt sided very much on the opposition. So we used to get a hard deal. We're fighting, we're playing the officials as well. You know, the linesmen and the referee.
Although referees wouldn't give us all the decisions, it didn't worry us because we knew how good we was. You know what I'm saying? We knew how good we were. No matter what team we played against, there wouldn't be no fear factor going out there to play, because when we looked around our team, everybody could play football.
I mean, every time you played Newbury Youth, you know you was in for a great game. And they had some good characters in the team as well.
I was there on that first year, you know, groundbreaking year. I don't think we lost the game that year.
When they tackled, they weren't tackling us, the ball, they were tackling us. They're trying to put you out of the game. And so, at time to time, it got physical.
While we're playing this cup game against this Caucasian team, they just kept on saying, kunta, 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 and monkey noises. And what happened was, right, we ignored it. We just ignored it. And we went 1-0 up. The insults continued, went 2-0 up, went 3-0 up. And then what happened was the late Vince Campbell, he got fouled, and when he was on the ground, the player stood on him and said, "Get up, sunshine." And Vince got up, hit this guy. And when you looked around, the whole pitch was fighting. Everyone was fighting. Everybody went back to the changing rooms. A few minutes later, the referee calls out Berkeley, our captain, and he calls out the other captain. Berkeley comes back and he says, "Oh, the referee wants to continue the game." And he's asked the other team whether or not we should continue the game. Well, we're winning 3-0. It's a cup game. Why not? And you know the funny thing, Tony? I don't know if you remember. After the game, right, the Caucasian team, to a man, they went round, they shook our hands. That was it. It was like there wasn't no fighting after the game. It was all done and dusted.
You know, the half time we had to get together and cook up a plan. We're going to throw it out from the goalkeeper. Vinny, you're going to get the ball for so and so and so and so and so. You're going to work your way through. And I'll be there from there. I'm going to go the left back and I'm going to run through. And there's no way, you know. And that's exactly what we did. I went through. And I went through from playing deep, playing like if I was going to, and I didn't pass it. I did not pass it. I just kept it, played like I was going to pass it. And I went through, bang, in the goal. All the crowd, everybody started clapping. And we said, yeah, we can play with our brains. We are clever, aren't we? So everybody says, yeah. So the referee could not make an offside. There's no way. We were determined to show that we had the brains, not just ability.
We had one thing going for us. If someone scored 5, we scored the living 6.
The living 6.
The living 6.
Living 6! The living 6!
The game in open tail, we have the living 6. And it could have been the living 7, living 8, because that means we stopped. Living 6, we're looking to score and looking to keep performing to that particular level.
I don't know how many games we won the living 6, but it was like a big boost for the team because we had to get the living 6.
There was some teams, he said we was beating our like 13, 14 now. I can remember having to put the report into the Weekly Herald. And when I called them to give them the scoreline, I can't remember, it was something like 13-1, 13-0, I can't even remember, but the person then asked me, did you say Newbury football team or Newbury rugby team? And I had to correct them and tell them Newbury football team, FC.
Vince Campbell was slick, smart, brazy type player. He would just talk to the players. He just read the game so well. He was such a great player.
And Vincent was the one that used to wash myself and my sister. He used to dress us. He used to make sure we had our breakfast. He used to plait our hair. He was everything. He was our parent as well as our brother.
He let his football do the talking. If he had 4 players around him and he said, give him the ball, give him the ball.
It was pouring down with rain and I had called him to see if there was any way he could get a lift to come and pick us up. And that is when we got a lift to Wood Green. And on the way back, it was just pouring, couldn't see anything. It was just really, and I remember saying to the person that was driving that he was driving too fast. I was at the back and I was right in the middle, in between, and Vince was at the front. And I was saying, you're driving too fast, driving too fast. And like Vincent said, listen, don't you hear my woman? She's telling you you're driving too fast. And I don't even remember what happened next. All I know, we took the curve, the turning at Southby Road, and all of a sudden the car just started, and I think it was driving too fast. So when we went over the bump, the car just way up in the air, and from then it just lost control.
He was my very good friend when it comes to play, off the field and on the field. But he's a player. Vince was very much involved in the youth centre. Vince's dad was a community person, a very known community person.
When Vince died, it hurt. It was like a shock to us all when Vince passed away.
It was tragic when he passed away, and a shock, Yeah, it was very sad. It was very sad.
Vincent lived his whole life in his 28 years. When I say that, he'd done so much. It felt like Vincent was the first one out of all the boys that went. So it was like, this is real life now. This is a massive, something that just hit us all, that you die. He was so young. And that funeral was the biggest funeral at the time I'd seen in Edmonton.
It definitely had an impact on the players. It definitely had an impact on the supporters, and it definitely had an impact on me. Knowing somebody who's died, someone I know, which that wasn't many people because I was young and not many young people died. So yeah, it had an impact.
What we did in the later years we started having a memorial
we had
for him.
We got 2 teams together. One wore the Newbury away kit and one wore the red kit. So it was mostly young uns against old uns.
Yeah, so the memorial was a good sort of memory. And also it was very good as well because it got the community back together as well, because it wasn't just the football teams that was there.
No.
When I came to Newbury, I had Pops, hearing his name all the time. Then I got to know him. Great guy.
Pops. Where do I start with him?
Oh, I remember him coming to our games, supporting us always. As we were young, and his sons used to play for us, he would come to the matches and support us.
If I'm honest with you, I didn't really want Dad at the football, but I used to come along and watch.
We used to have a lot of fun with Pops. You know, Pops used to say his thing, I used to say everything. And then Pops become manager, didn't he? He did it. Pops become manager.
He just come and then he started to talk to the players. He started to buy oranges and cut oranges.
You remember the old rusty knife he had, cutting It's amazing how we never caught anything.
Just starting to do things. It's like he just turned up.
When you had the team talk, everybody would be quiet, and then he had his say. And when he had his say, then we'd all start to talk again. But when he spoke, everybody kept quiet and listened.
I met one of our old footballers who came later on called Russell.
Caucasian guy, we have to
Yes,
say that, yeah.
Right, he's Caucasian. And Russell didn't have a father. And me and Russell was talking about a couple of months ago. And he goes, you know what, Tony? Pops was my father at football and beyond. He taught me everything. And to have him Pops there was an inspiration to a lot of us.
No swearing, round Pops, and our behavior had to be accountable.
When he first started coming, I didn't want him there. After he was there for a while, it was as if he wasn't there. But I remember the first time he came in the change room, right, and I heard him swear.
Never hear him swear before.
Never heard him swear before.
We must have been playing bad.
We was. And I looked at, and I was laughing inside. I said, Dad, sport.
He used to encourage the players a lot. He used to speak to players individually and things like that, you know. That's what Pop said. He made sure that if there's any trouble going to occur, he was at the forefront to make sure it calmed down. And he didn't care whether he was black, white, yellow, green, pink. He spoke to everybody as a community leader.
He was the manager, skipper, this, that. He was the secretary. He was everything. He was our godfather.
At this time, the London Junior Cup was one of the most prestigious trophies local football teams could aspire to. Newbury had never won this cup before, and in the 1982-83 season, they had reached the semi-final.
In the London Junior Cup, we were still feeling the legacy of the loss of Vince Campbell. And we played a semi-final where we were 3-1 down, and we played in the AstroTurf up by Islington. But for some miraculous feat, you know, we came from 3-1 down to make it 3-3 and go into not extra time alone, but go into a replay. And for some reason, we felt that Mr. Vince Campbell was smiling down upon us. And this was the AstroTurf we played on. It wasn't ground. It wasn't mud. This was AstroTurf. So we were done. We weren't used to that. We managed to bring it back to 3-3, and we had a return. And when we returned, we played at our place, and we won 1-0. that semi-final, and that puts us into the London Junior Cup.
We got to the final, we beat a whole lot of good teams to get to the final. And one thing I do remember that particular year is that if you missed the penalty, our football club was ruthless. Anyway, I missed the penalty. We lost the game 3-1, end up trying to chase this game. It was ridiculous. Seriously, we was inside, I'll never forget it, we was inside the dressing room. Literally just, what just happened? How did we lose that game?
You know, we could have won it before the penalty, but we were very low. And we didn't necessarily play our best team. If we had the same boys, the guys who were the Living Six Guys Brigade, then we'd have no choice. But I think people's heart was a bit low because of the loss of him. So they were carrying and they were still feeling it in their heart.
Newbury was getting to a certain level. We had players who wanted to go higher. They should do, because this is football.
We didn't have the money to go higher. We was at the highest level we could have got at the time.
So you had players that ended up leaving Newbury. By those players leaving, it left Newbury pretty thin on players. So some games, Newbury would only have 9 players turn up. And then the players that were coming in, they might not have been good they definitely weren't good enough.
We wanted a different challenge. We'd done well at Newbury, and now I was going to another team in a higher league. And so you want to test yourself. Marcel, Berkeley, Vince and I, the 4 of us went.
When you get 5 or 6 players leave, if you haven't got a filter system with younger ones coming in, because it wasn't part of the plan, we didn't realize, we could actually set up that kind of system where you can get younger players coming in. We weren't that kind of club. We didn't understand all of that.
Despite the loss of players, Newbury still tried to compete. To take on greater challenges, the team was offered the opportunity by Johnny Folks and Tony Cato to amalgamate with Greystone Metalbox FC. This was accepted, and the team subsequently spent 3 seasons in the Northern Suburban League, gaining multiple honors, and then transferred to the Middlesex League, where their success continued. However, the management team changed, and the team lost their sense of community. Their achievements started to diminish, and in the 1990-91 season they found themselves bottom of the Middlesex League. It was obvious that the team needed to return home.
Jim Regan allowed me on a Sunday to pick the team. He was the first one who gave me that little thing to manage, right? And I did a little bit of managing on a Sunday for Jim when he wasn't there, or he was there and he just let me. When all this business happened with Greystone Metal Box, I said, I'll run the team, but I'm bringing the team home back to Edmonton, home back to our people. And that's what I did.
I should be coming in and saying, yes, winners. That's the same attitude we all got to have when we get out there. Winners. We get back, we defend, we attack, we're attacking numbers. No silly mistake. If you don't get the call, you get the ball out. I've been preaching it for ages. You don't get the call, get the ball out. Take no chances.
There's me. I wanted to be a part of it. That's why I'm pushing myself to get in there, to get in there. I used to think I'm just going to play for them. To see myself here, as a supporter, to not only play for them and then actually giving up football and managing the club was, well, it was just unbelievable.
Switch the play. Like Len, you're getting the ball in some excellent positions, right? You're taking that one touch too much. Just a little bit too much.
Yes, later on, I became an assistant manager with my brother Dave. And boy, we had a great time.
I won all the other cups apart from the London Junior. For me, it was very painful because I thought the team I built was that good, right? It was good enough to win the London Junior. This is the second time this club hasn't won the London Junior Cup now. Our name is not on the trophy.
For over 23 years, this football team won 26 major honours. In the 1997-98 season, under the management of the late Stanley Alfred James, George Jahagan and Mervyn Cato, the team were invincible, going unbeaten for the whole season. They also finally won, for the first time, the London Junior Cup, which they retained for the following season.
Yeah, after Vince died, Berkeley became the captain, and the team was still good. Everything was still good. Berkeley was a very good player, you know. You look at Twinkle Toes and he like drawback and pretty foot. That was Berkeley.
I think Berkeley was someone we all looked up to, but you knew when he spoke, he had meaning to what he said.
Berkeley was a man, we just respect them. They were elders to us, and we grew up to respect our elders anyway. He was a good community leader.
He was one of the elders. He was a leader off the pitch, and he was a leader on the pitch.
So I became the youth leader. Mr. Campbell was very much supportive of the fact that me going and making sure, maybe making it permanent and making a career of community work, youth and community work. And also, I must say, Gene and them was very much supportive, that they felt they had the right attitude and aptitude to be a community worker and make a difference in our community. What we did is we applied for training, Goldsmith in London, but to do so, you know, it had to be twice. So you get the post, you apply for the position, and also you apply for a grant. So I went and applied for a place, and I got through the selection, and I got a place at Goldsmith. But then when I came back, then they said the grant was being refused. When I came back, I saw everybody's face, all the people who was European or had white faces, it was red. And nobody could give me an answer why. And that said enough. Then what came through the unofficial thing was that the people who was making decisions decided that they were not gonna pay a grant for no black person to go to university to come and benefit their community. And that's why people they couldn't tell me anything, because they were embarrassed. Well, what I did, I said, well, okay. So I spoke to my guys, so and so, and I said, okay, I'm going to go out of London. I'm going to go to university. Once you get the place at uni, then you qualify for a grant. So yeah, I think that what I got from Newbury when I went to university, that strengthened my position. Burnley Grant was making a lot of changes in Haringey, and he'd met me a few times, and my mother and so forth. He said when you come out, I need to have the opportunity to get you part of my team. As you see, this was a torch, the Olympic torch. And it's in recognition of the work that I've done for the community. But can I say that, and I've said before, if I didn't start on Newbury, I don't think I wouldn't have got this. It's mine, but it's for the community. It started from, I'd say, the youth centre, Newbury Youth Centre. This is the legacy.
The success of the team is testament to the community who played, supported, and helped, and is a worthy tribute to the people of Edmonton.
There's so many people who came through here.
Brothers and sisters, friends, all coming and watching, being on the sideline and supporting and shouting for Newbury Football Club.
For me, it was brilliant for the community.
As a youth, we needed something to do. We had a lot of energy. And I see the youth now, they got a lot of energy. They need something to do.
I think it's very important to have places like this in the community, simply because when we were growing up, we had somewhere to go.
This film is dedicated to the people of Edmonton and how they welcome these young people, helping them forge their own community. It is also dedicated to all of those that work with young people in youth centers and schools in Enfield. Look what can be achieved if you engage with young people. Newbury Rules.